Good morning. Good morning. Yes, I'm here early. And again, I didn't put myself on the screen. So here I am. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hi, Muggsy. Hi, MRE. I missed your live last night with Rat Trap City, but I will be rewatching. I was knocked out last night. Good morning, Aries. Good morning, Gamecock Jenny, sweetie. Hi, M Wit. Wisco Gal, Mustang, Mike, Aries. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I have to watch that. I have a live set up today at 1 o'clock. I'm going through Kim Raya's exposure of Lisa, and I'm doing timestamps for the stuff that I want to discuss because we're not going to play that whole thing. There are some key points that I was going through since I was out last night. I'm telling you, I got a message from Chantel. I saw it this morning when I woke up, and she said that Kim is live exposing Lisa. I knew it was coming. I knew it. I thought she was going to do it the day before, but she did it yesterday, of course, when I went to bed early. So I will be going over that TikTok live she did last night, and we're going to hit some key points. But this morning, there's more stuff going on with Kei'Mani Latigue. Hi, Julie BC. Good morning. Uh, there's more stuff going on with Kei'Mani Latigue. There's also a 3-year-old stabbing victim that we're going to talk about this morning. We also have we have two stories out of Las Vegas. One is the 3-year-old, and then there's a man, 26 years old, who says his mother was sexually abusing him at the age of 10. So now he's looking to see, he's put in for DNA to see if his little brother is really his son. Um, I was in MRE's chat for a little while, it was yesterday, I guess. Oh, I won my book from Josie. So I ordered a book, and I'm going to give that book to a friend of mine. I sent Josie an email this morning. I'm going to get an autographed copy, and that's the book that I'm going to keep. So I sent Josie an email this morning when I woke up with my address and everything so she can send it. Um, oh my God, I think I did put the zip code there. Now I'm wondering. Um, Shit, I think I put the zip code. If not, I'll send it to her. But with that, and then I was in MRE's chat for a bit yesterday, and I was enjoying his chat as well. And MRE really did a good chat. But then MRE, when I went back, it was gone. You deleted it, so um, I'll have to stay for the next one the whole time. Crafting with Amanda. Good morning. So, hi, Lady Red. Lady Red, I saw that you did the Kim and Lisa exposure thing, but I want to do a commentary on it. I don't know if you did commentary on yours, but there's only certain sections I want to discuss. I want to discuss, of course, about her line about her father's death. There's also a part on part one, so I'm looking at doing commentary on part one and part three. Um, just maybe, I think one is like 20 something minutes, and the next one is about 30 minutes. So I didn't know if you did commentary on yours. I just saw that you did it. But if you want to come up on a panel, you're more than welcome to. I'm going to do that at 1 o'clock PST time. So if you want to come up, you're welcome to come up. But Kim said she's going to file theft by deception. Okay, first of all, I don't know how Kim. Oh, you are? Okay. I don't know how Kim is going to file theft by deception. Okay, you bring that up. Kim knew that Lisa was in active addiction. Kim was giving Lisa money to keep her from being sick and to keep her from coming online. I heard Lisa say, oh, and we're going to discuss a little bit of Lisa's live too when I go live at 1, the one she did last night and she got discontinued. But We're going to discuss that because Kim can't file theft by deception. Now, the woman that sent her, or the people that, two people that sent her 150, or it was one person. One person sent 150, then she sent another 150. They're waiting for the screenshots on that. That is theft by deception. The people that were giving her money for shadow, that amounted to, that is theft by deception. People just need to stop giving her money. But let me get on to Kei'Mani. Oh, George's live yesterday was on fire. George was fed up yesterday, and rightfully so. They keep coming in the chat, keep disrupting the chat. I didn't get to see his Rumble live because I was live, didn't get his Rumble notification saying he was going live on Rumble. So George's live was on fire yesterday. Daddy. But yes, so anyway, I will be back at 1, but let's get on with Kei'Mani. And this story has really, it's taken on, oh God, this has taken on a whole new thing. And I'm trying to see which one. I want to start first with, hold on, there that I have that I want to talk with, because the official is speaking against the other official, and I want you to hear this. So let's just do this, and let's get Kei'Mani in here. Her story is heartbreaking. So then there is one where the teacher is talking, and she had gone to see Child Protection Bureau, CPD. I mean, CPB. She had gone there. And this is another case where it was just slipped through the system. So let's listen to what's going on.
Reaction continues to pour in tonight as a community looks for answers in the death of a Toledo teen, Kei'Mani Latigue, found dead in an abandoned home just days before her 14th birthday.
Daddy.
That, as the man accused of her murder, her own
That's her father,
remains hospitalized more than 100 miles away.
So let's
Darnell
just,
Jones,
okay, hold on a second. Let me stop this. That's her father. When she went missing, he was interviewed. For the life of me, I cannot find that interview again with him on there. But this is a snippet of the interview with him. This is Darnell. You know, he goes by Darnell Jones, Darnell Ogilvy. This is Darnell. And I've been trying to find that clip with him speaking. Can't find it.
Remains hospitalized more than 100 miles away. Darnell Jones, who also goes by Darnell Ogilvy, was supposed to be arraigned in Franklin County today on claims he fired at Columbus police yesterday. Police shot him, and he's facing felonious assault charges there, and here in Lucas County, where he also faces murder and abduction charges. And tonight we're hearing from Toledo's police chief about this case, which started as a missing persons case. 13 Action News reporter Alexis Means has been on this story from the start and sat down with the chief today.
Darnell Jones is still in a Columbus hospital after he was shot by police there on Tuesday. He's accused of killing his 13-year-old daughter, Kei'Mani Latigue. Police found her body in an abandoned home on Miami Street.
Could he be brought back to Toledo today?
I don't know the timing, so I don't want to speak to it because I honestly don't know when he will be brought back. And I don't know if they're talking to him or not because I don't know if he wants to talk to him. So there's a lot of things, but I know we sent detectives down this morning.
Chief Michael Trinley says this case has taken an emotional toll on the family.
Look how that memorial has grown. It has really grown. This is the house where Kei'Mani was found.
Family, community, and officers.
It's probably the worst possible outcome of any one of these missing cases that we work.
He says when the teen was reported missing, officers interviewed family and friends, executed search warrants, and collected surveillance evidence in this case.
Sunday, we brought in cadaver dogs. We were out there searching and beating down the wooded area, and there's some things that led us to those directions, to those areas.
Kei'Mani's father was interviewed.
Dad was interviewed. He gave us his version of the story. Eventually, we had nothing to say that was not true. Those are things that happened later on in the week that we started saying, some of the things he told us was not true. Why is he lying to us?
An autopsy revealed the girl's throat was cut. Tuesday, Columbus police working in connection with TPD found the suspect. Police say there was a confrontation and Jones was shot. Chief Trindley took issue with Columbus police, explaining why he believes this statement was unprofessional.
This case is one of the most horrific cases I ever heard. This is a 14-year-old that was murdered, raped, had her hands cut off, and her throat almost cut off. This is an absolute animal that came into our town.
He's releasing could be.
So here's the problem. He's saying he's releasing information that should not have been released. Now, the SWAT captain has something to say about this.
True details could be false details. I'm not going to say one way or the
They're
other.
not false.
But he's releasing details that somehow he became knowledge of that affects another police department's case, another police department's investigation, important facts.
They're fighting.
That actually allows us to confirm suspects, to rule out suspects, to do things in that investigation. Those are details that we would never release in an investigation. Well,
and I agree with you on that. Those wouldn't have been released. This was a heated thing, so I get it. But the information came from your office.
About the second factor, how insensitive is that? He has no idea.
That's true.
If the family knows any of those details, he has no idea. Our coroner hadn't done the autopsy yet when he's running and saying those things.
The chief says his detectives hold on to information so they can build a tight case. I asked him if rape charges will be filed.
At this point, we have no evidence that would allow us to file those charges. That doesn't mean that evidence won't come later.
They had the evidence.
Alexis Means, 13 Action News.
And just in, Columbus officer Brian Steele releasing a statement in response to what Chief Trindley said about the comments that he made yesterday. Steele says the information he shared came straight from the officers at the scene and those actively searching for the suspect. He adds that if the details of the crime were truly confidential, Chief Trindley should have communicated that outside agencies. Steele says he believes in transparency with the public. He closes by saying, as for catching Toledo's suspect, a simple thank you, CPD, would have sufficed.
There you go.
Members of Toledo City Council are demanding answers in Kei'Mani's death. Council President Carrie Hartman says a lot of systems in the community failed the young girl. Councilmember George Taranto raised concerns about what happens when agencies receive reports of potential abuse.
We deserve action. We depend on these agencies to do their job. And I guess my question is, did they do their job?
No, they didn't.
Sound
And
like
we're
that.
going to get to that.
But I have an open mind. I want the truth. We all need to have that information ASAP.
One of Kei'Mani's former teachers tells 13 Action News that she and others reported abuse concerns while the girl was with a different guardian. Lucas County leaders are also looking for answers and action. Commissioner Pete Gerken says he wants to rebuild trust between.
In her short 13 years, Kei'Mani was enrolled in 6 different schools. And tonight, we're hearing from some of the people from those schools who say she came to school with potential signs of abuse.
Michael Sandlin joins us. Michael, what did they have to say to you?
Hi, Aesop's.
Well, Kaylee, Jeff, they say they tried to sound the alarm and it fell on deaf ears. I spoke to a classmate of Kei'Mani's.
How many times do we hear it fell on deaf ears? I showed you the story the other day about the 10-year-old that told CPS, in that case CPS, that his mother wasn't feeding him and she wanted to kill him. And he was found buried in the backyard. How many times do we hear how these people are falling through the cracks? We had 3 kids abandoned in a home in Detroit for 5 years. They were school age. Those kids fell through the crack. We had a little boy and his little sister that died of carbon monoxide poisoning in a casino parking lot. CPS knew those kids were in peril. The school had to know that little boy was riddled with lice because the coroner found it during the autopsy. He was covered with lice. Are we kidding? And I believe that. I believe that.
Says she tried to tell a teacher, and I spoke to a teacher who says she tried to tell CSB. In both instances, the person they tried to help is now gone.
She came to school with bruises on her arms.
That's 7th grader Kei'Mani Fisher, a classmate of Kei'Mani's from her most recent school, Spring Elementary. Fisher says she would often see Kei'Mani come into class with visible markings, so she and other students decided to say something to a teacher.
And she said she would deal with it, but I don't think nothing happened.
TPS representatives say they have no records of abuse against Kei'Mani to either CSB or TPD. But it's also not the first time someone has raised concerns about what was going on inside Latigue's home. Kayleen Harabedian was her 6th grade English teacher at Bennett Venture Academy, the last school she attended before spring. Harabedian says she also spotted visible markings and bruises on Kei'Mani.
It's hard because especially in a role like education, your day doesn't end at 3:30. You take these things home with you. They weigh on you. I'm a parent myself.
Oh my God, Zelda.
I tried my best to make sure that she was removed from that environment.
Harabedian claims she put in multiple calls to CSB.
CSB.
Kei'Mani's grandmother and legal guardian Dorothy Latigue says they did come knocking on her door.
This is what we saw yesterday. She was matter of fact, no emotions, no nothing. But this was her granddaughter who was murdered. This is the grandmother.
But she denies there was any abuse in the home.
I've went through this twice because the school system had contacted CSB on her behalf when she went to Bennett Academy. And they came in, they did a case study and closed it. They've stated there's a way to chastise children without physically harming them. And you need to whoop them on their behind, nowhere else. So, okay, with that in mind,
wait a minute. You were sipping tea at Lady Red's, and Lady Red is in here. You know you need to have coffee before your tea, okay? She was quite defensive. And we found out yesterday that the aunt, her daughter, had been in the system. She was in foster care. What the hell is going on in this family?
It's important to note Dorothy Latigue is currently not charged with any crime, and Kei'Mani was allowed to continue living with her following the alleged CSB check-in.
It just fell on deaf ears, and I think that had she been investigated more, this was looked more into, she would 100% be alive today.
Wednesday morning, a new piece of graffiti.
Look at this. CSB, where is your accountability? You let them silence her. Her life mattered. Thank you, Zelda. Thank you. Why is she whipping a 13-year-old? I don't understand. At that age, you take away their games, you take away their phone, put them on punishment. Why are you whipping a 13-year-old? Why?
Has been sprayed on the burned-out home where Kei'Mani's body was found. CSB, where's your accountability? A question city council members like Susanna McPherson are asking now as well.
I want to hear from CSB. We all do. What happened? What was the missing link? Where was the disconnect?
We reached out to Lucas County Children's Services to see if they had any reports of abuse against Kei'Mani. They tell us that any reports they might have would be protected by Ohio privacy laws and would not be fit for public reporting. However, they tell us they're planning on holding a press conference Friday morning so they can clear the air. Reporting in East Toledo, I'm Michael Sanon for WTOL.
Tomorrow morning, we have a press conference that's coming, and we're going to have to be diligent and pay attention, because somehow or another this was missed. If the teacher is saying she noticed the bruises, a student went to the teacher and said she noticed the bruises. This is crazy. I don't understand how this keeps happening. If these people are diligently doing their jobs, and if you can always tell when a child isn't saying something. You can always tell by the shifting of the eyes. When you catch a child in a lie, they don't want to look directly at you. The mother abandoned her when she was 9 months old? 9 months old. And I do believe the reason why the grandmother wanted her foster care was because she was getting a check. Once she adopted her, the check stopped coming in. So then she went to sue the mother. She went to sue the mother for child support. She wanted that money. It was the money. But my thing is, where was the grandmother at? Did the grandmother work at night? Are you leaving a 13-year-old girl at home overnight? According to what the dad said, which we can't put too much into that, and I really want to find that interview. According to what the dad said, Kei'Mani called him because someone was breaking in the home. Him and a friend went, or him and his cousin went. They stayed there for 30 minutes. Then they left. Grandma said she came home. Kei'Mani's underwear and her pajama bottoms, or her pajamas, were on the floor of the sofa. I can't really remember the exact words. And that's what's pissing me off. And the stove was on. So where was she at? Where was the grandmother? Did she work at night? The dad said she called. And I'm telling you, that first interview he did when she first went missing. There are so many interviews here. I can't find that initial interview with Darnell. I can't find it, but I'm going to find it. And we're going to listen to what he said. But anyway, he he has not been transferred back yet. He was supposed to be returned yesterday. They're not sure when he's going to come back. They don't know the timeline on it. Yep, 9 months. She had very little contact. Her sister even said that she would call her complaining that her mom wanted child support, but she never asked about Kei'Mani. Never asked about Kei'Mani. That's what she said. So, good morning, Sarah motherfucking Z. It's okay, sweetie. It's okay. But this is a very sad story, and I keep following it. Now, tomorrow morning, I may be a little, I'll probably come in later because Waterbury, Kimberly Sullivan is going back to court tomorrow morning, and they're looking to redo her bail, and there may be additional charges at that time. So I'll come back after the court. When I was talking to it was another case that I was following. It was the roommate murder, which was tried after 17 or 18 years. She was found not guilty. But anyway, we're going to get to the Las Vegas story right now. Christoph, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Muggsy. Okay, so let's go. Now, as I told you, this young man is 26 years old. I can't believe he's 26, but he's 26 years old. Okay, we're going to do his story first, and then we're going to do the 3-year-old. All right, so let's just take a look at this. Vote. I hope you're doing okay, sweetie. Let me just share my screen. And I need to start it from the beginning. Come on back. Come on back. Okay, here we go.
I'm speaking out because there are people suffering in silence right now. And if I was going to suffer to the extent that you're aware of, I didn't want to do it silently anymore.
And before he starts, may I add that his mother is back in jail again. Okay? Back in jail again. Her name is Doreen Gifford. She went to jail about 10 years ago. Come out of your come out of your stingy what is it? Come out of your stingy spirits. Okay. Wait a minute, Dre. I gotta put that one up. Come out of your stingy spirit, or Heidi's locking the door. His mom, Doreen Gifford, is back in jail again.
A man no longer silent about allegations of sexual assault involving his own mother and the paternity case that he has now filed. Now, he told police his mother repeatedly sexually assaulted him when he was a child.
The mother sexually assaulted him. So it just doesn't happen to girls. I keep saying this. It just doesn't happen to girls. It happens to boys as well, and men.
Maintains her innocence, but a judge sentenced her to nearly 10 years in prison as part of that criminal case.
And now this man, who's 26 years old, wants to know if his younger brother could actually be his son. He reached out to 8 News Now investigator David Sharns, and David he really wants to get his message out about it.
Right, and that message is that men are survivors too, right? We looked at the data, and nearly half of all men will report some form of sexual assault or harassment in their lifetimes. Logan Gifford says his life is full of other people's consequences. That pain, he says, will never fully go away, and now he hopes to get help answering one big question.
There's a possibility that my brother could be my son.
It's a question 26-year-old Logan Gifford wants answered. Is his younger brother, conceived around the same time he told police his mother sexually assaulted him, actually his?
I'm still directly involved in the mess that has been left to me.
Gifford telling police that mess began when he was 10 and lasted for 7 years. Prosecutors charging Doreen Gifford with sexual assault and incest. She maintained her innocence and took an Alford plea on charges including attempted sexual assault.
So she maintained her innocence, but she took an Alford plea, meaning there was enough evidence to convict her. Okay? So if you didn't do it, you didn't do it. But you took an Alford plea saying, hey, there's enough evidence. Let me just take this deal so I can avoid going to jail. Basically what she did.
Meaning she did not admit guilt, but believed prosecutors could sway a jury to convict her.
Sending her to prison was halfway vindicating because I thought the largest problem of my life was originally dealt with.
Logan Gifford, the oldest of 4, says with his mother in prison, he was left to raise one of his younger brothers born with cognitive disabilities.
He deserves to have a quiet and peaceful life. And like I said, he's here now. And he and I didn't ask for any of this.
That's led to a paternity case, asking a judge to order an advanced test to determine who is that boy's father.
And that's what I was trying to understand. How could you determine if that's your son when you and your mom would have the same DNA? But then when I listened to this, it said there was an advanced test that you can do. Because I'm like, that'll be hard to prove. But they're not showing the little boy's face. But we can see they damn near look alike just by the shape of the head. There's the nose. Don't mean anything. They're the same mother. But this shit is crazy.
Comes back negative. I'm still filing for custody. Because that doesn't change, the obligation that I have to him now.
Now, for Gifford, working on political campaigns, getting married, and having children. But he says getting here wasn't easy.
I really wound up having to make a lot of critical decisions at a very early age because I was
Yes,
looking at the
he's
impact that
elected
it
for
would have had
sexism,
on
and
my
she's back in
siblings.
jail.
Now, he thinks one of those siblings could actually be his son and hopes to finally get an answer.
And it's ugly and visceral, but it doesn't change the fact that it needed to be done.
Records show Doreen Gifford is back in prison, and we asked the Department of Corrections why, but we haven't heard back, and we were unable to reach her. Before her sentencing nearly a decade ago, her attorney maintained her innocence and said Logan, remember a child at the time.
For her record, I went to look and I can't find it. So I have to dig a little deeper to see what she's back in prison for.
Had ample opportunity to report those allegations. Now, as an adult, Logan says that kind of statement shows how the system is failing young men like him. I'm David Sharns, 8 News Now.
Very brave of him to share his story, David. Thank you. If you or anyone you know needs to talk to somebody about sexual assault, there is a number you can call at the bottom of your screen. It's 775-221-7600. It takes you to the Nevada Sexual Assault Support Services hotline, and we also have more resources for you on our website.
Now, before I show you,
Many people have asked and wondered.
Let me stop this one. Before I show you this story about this 3-year-old, let me just give you a little background. Well, the 3-year-old was stabbed by the babysitter, who now they're saying is the dad's girlfriend. The dad is the one that called 911. Around, 1 o'clock in the morning. So this is really, really sad.
My name is Robert Price. I'm the homicide lieutenant for the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department.
I don't
Today,
like
I'm here to brief you on a homicide that took place at the 4200 block of Channel 10 Drive. The details of this call are: at approximately 3:30 in the morning, LVMPD dispatch received a 911 call from a father stating that the babysitter had just stabbed his child. That father also stated that the babysitter fled on foot and was somewhere in the area.
Question was, why was the babysitter there at 3:30 in the morning? So then we later find out that she's a possible girlfriend.
Officers from South Central Area Command immediately responded, and upon their arrival, they located the father and his daughter, and the daughter was suffering from several stab wounds. Those officers immediately began to render aid until medical arrived. And upon medical arrival, they transported that child to Sunrise Hospital, where unfortunately that child was pronounced deceased. Officers began immediate canvass of the area, and fortunately we were able to locate the babysitter, who was taken into custody without incident. Homicide detectives have been notified, and we are currently on scene investigating this crime.
A 3-year-old!
There's no threat to the public. This is an isolated incident. It's just a very tragic and unfortunate incident. And with that, I'll take any questions that we have.
A 3-year-old child stabbed to death. Well, she was stabbed and then she died. So stabbed to death. 3 years old. What could a 3-year-old do to you that makes you do that to her? This is crazy.
What was the relationship between the person that reported and the babysitter? How long had she been watching his kids? That kind of thing.
You know, that's still under investigation. We're actually currently speaking to the father at this time and to the suspect at this time. So all we know right now is that it's the father and the babysitter is the suspect.
What is the age of the child?
Did you hear that? The father and the babysitter is the suspect. Why was the babysitter there at 3:30? I swore I heard 12. I heard 12 somewhere. But why was the babysitter there? Where was the daddy?
3-year-old child.
Muggsy.
Anything else?
Okay, so sorry, just a couple clarifying questions. What time in the morning did you say this happened?
3:30 in the morning, sir.
3:30 in the morning. So a babysitter was it like an overnight stay? That's pretty late for a babysitter to be on.
Well, that it seems like the babysitter also lives with them, but I haven't got that clarified.
See that? Babysitter lives with them. I'm saying girlfriend, and somewhere else I read she was a girlfriend, not just a babysitter.
So,
and the babysitter and the father are suspects?
Hi, Jen.
Babysitter suspect.
Just the babysitter.
Yes, sir.
And it's under custody, no?
In custody right now, yes, ma'am. Okay.
Did this happen inside of a unit over here? We see some things in kind of in the parking lot.
It happened inside the unit. Inside the unit. It's just this is where they took it into custody at. Okay. Thank you.
So 3 years old. 3 years old.
I'm speaking out because
we've already saw that one. I wanted to also talk to you about. I talked to you about the one.
Now to a KCRA3 exclusive investigation. We reported
Mule Creek Prison. I was looking into how did this happen. How does someone that commit 4 murders get to have conjugal visits? And then, as I told you, and you heard it yourself, that it's not based on their past, it's based on their behavior in prison. Then I'm looking, and I find there was another woman that was killed at the same prison 2 months earlier. 2 months earlier by an inmate that she married because she thought she can help him as well.
First last week, the November death of a woman at Mule Creek State Prison during a conjugal visit with her husband was ruled a homicide. And now we're learning another woman was also murdered during a visit with her husband at the same prison a few months before that. Both deadly incidents taking place at the Mule Creek State Prison in Ione. That's in Amador County. KCRA3 investigates Lizzie Mitri spoke exclusively with that woman's family.
Curtis, this family saw our investigation last week after the murder of 62-year-old Stephanie Dowles, and they said they felt compelled to come forward with their story.
We were born and raised in San Francisco. We were raised by our grandparents. And this is just a little collage of her life.
Janine Rojo and her cousin weren't just close in age.
We've literally been together since birth.
They did everything together until July 1st when everything changed.
It's just tragic what happened.
Her cousin, a single mother of one, died.
Tanya Vanessa Corpse, she was 47 years old.
She says Thomas spent more than half her life battling lupus, but the family learned the disease is not what killed her.
For her to be taken away this way, it's gut-wrenching.
The Amador County District Attorney tells KCRA3 investigates Thomas's husband.
That picture reminded me of me and my son when he graduated the Air Force. I have that picture of me and all of my sons but I saw that picture and I'm like, wait a minute. But that's not my son.
48-year-old Anthony Curry is charged with her murder.
Oh, it hit my gut.
He's accused of strangling Thomas during a conjugal visit.
Now, this one actually killed he killed another woman. Why would you marry somebody that's murdered another woman? Why would you marry somebody that committed murder, period? If they did it once, they'll do it again. Jesus.
Mule Creek State Prison. Court records show Curry was already serving time in prison for a conviction of attempted murder following the 1999 shooting of his 19-year-old girlfriend at the time.
He shot a girl in the head and dumped her body, so he left her body for dead.
She was found at a remote truck stop in Richmond, barely alive. A gunshot wound to the head left her permanently blind and partially paralyzed.
He's a violent person.
Rojo says she had no idea her cousin even had conjugal visits with him.
With that history of severe violence, why are they being allowed to have these visits?
Yep.
Unsupervised.
It's something she kept to herself until she saw the story on the November death of 62-year-old Stephanie Dowles.
4 months after a woman died while visiting an inmate at Mule Creek State Prison, we've learned her death is now deemed a homicide.
Another woman killed at Mule Creek State Prison during a conjugal visit with her husband, a 4-time convicted murderer.
I was sick to my stomach and I was in tears.
She could no longer stay silent.
I'm not against conjugal visits. However, there's already 2 murders at Mule Creek. What can be done to prevent this from happening again? Maybe put more prison guards out to do more safety.
There's only 4 prisons that allow conjugal visits. Only 4 prisons that allow conjugal visits. I think if you were, I think the rules need to be changed, period. There are 4 prisons that still allow conjugal visits. I think if you committed crimes like murder and R and all this other stuff, if you were a violent criminal, you don't deserve to have unsupervised visits. They need to look at this. They really do.
Checks to anything to save another life.
The CDCR website shows inmates can't have conjugal visits if they're on death row, convicted of sex offenses if they're going through the reception process upon arrival to a prison.
So if you're convicted of sex offenses, you can't have conjugal visits. But if you're convicted of murder, you can do that. Okay.
Or if they have disciplinary restrictions, but there is no mention of violent crime convictions. CDCR says inmates have to apply and meet strict criteria to earn the privilege of family visits, and they say these visits are meant to support family connection and rehabilitation.
Okay, so a lot of people would say one murder is too many, two murders way too many. What security measures are in place to protect people who are there visiting?
Right, we had to go through their manual to see what do they do, how do they make sure people are safe. What we could find is inmates have to present themselves for a count at least 4 times in 24 hours, and the prison can order unscheduled inspections, but otherwise the manual really highlights that they try to ensure the inmate's privacy.
But we know about a second case because the family came forward. How many other cases are there that we don't know about?
Right, and we have asked
so the 4 states that allowed you these visits is going to be Washington State, New York, Connecticut, and California. Those are the 4 states that allow conjugal visits.
Corrections Department, and they responded to our inquiry, answering everything except for that question. So we followed up, and we are hoping to hear back from them soon.
All right, Lizzie, thank you. And while the November death was ruled a homicide, Stephanie Dow's husband has not been charged with murder. The prison says it is still investigating.
What are you investigating? Hold on. What are you investigating? Because we know she was murdered. She was strangled. Now, we have a follow-up too with the story from ISD. And I need to find where I put that at because I have stuff queued up. And remember the student that was tortured and bullied by his teachers. The teachers were arrested, as I told you. The teachers were arrested, and now the superintendent resigned, but she was also arrested for covering up child abuse. She knew about it. She knew about it. Here we go.
Emotions ran high in Millsap in Parker County over a child abuse investigation. 2 educators are charged with abusing a special needs student, and the superintendent is charged with failing to report it. The district held a special board meeting today that quickly got heated, and Fox 4's Dion Anglin has the story about that meeting. Dion.
Hi there, Steve. An emotional meeting today between parents and the Millsap ISD board. Calls demanding the firing of the superintendent, for now having to wait until at least Monday.
The parents should have been the first to know, yet they were left in the dark.
From the moment it began.
As a mother, I trusted the school system to protect my child and ensure his safety.
Through an executive session and beyond.
We're wasting time by not adding it all so we can get answers quicker.
Emotions were on display at a Millsap ISD special called meeting Friday.
An action to be placed on the agenda to hire outside an investigator that has not been involved in this case at all.
The meeting subject, next steps in a classroom child abuse investigation. 3 district employees, including the superintendent, were arrested in wake of a video that shows a teacher and teacher's aide mistreating 10-year-old Alex Cornelius. Special ed teacher Jennifer Dale and paraprofessional Paxton Bean are charged with official oppression. Bean is also charged with injury to a child for a separate incident. Superintendent Marie Edie Martin is charged with failing to report the alleged child abuse. The boy's mother says 3 weeks passed before she was notified.
She needs to go. She needs to go today.
Parents had hoped Friday's meeting would end with Martin's firing, yet she will remain on unpaid leave with a decision on termination now delayed until Monday.
This woman is giving y'all bad advice. Y'all need to replace her.
I want you guys to consider how you're going to conduct this investigation where these teachers who have been led by fear and silence for so long can actually feel like they can speak up.
We are, again, placing it on the agenda on Monday to go back and to make sure that everyone has been investigated fairly.
The meeting scheduled for Monday will address the personnel matters, an outside investigator, and likely nepotism in hiring. The State Board of Education member representing the region also shared with board members his opinion in the matter stemming from the video that includes disturbing and classroom behavior.
If you would have reached out to those parents, you would have the facts and information. I know your investigation will not have been complete yet, but you would have the facts and information to know that you shouldn't come out with a statement defending your superintendent. You would have had enough information to know that.
Now, another issue discussed at today's meeting, the future consideration for having cameras in all special education classrooms throughout the district. That's the very latest live. Steve, back to you.
Okay. All right, Dion England. Back.
So they were arrested, but then I have the interview, a sit-down interview with the Waterbury, with the mother and the sister, and they did a sit-down interview. And yeah, we're going to take a listen to what they had to say. Sit down interview now. Mother didn't want to be known. Our special ed teachers are supposed to be the cream of the crop. What the heck? Yep, they are. They're supposed to be exceptional. They're supposed to have the patience to deal with these students. They're supposed to be able to teach them and to show them how to make it through life on a daily basis. That's not what they're doing. Not at all. These teachers were torturing this child. And I'm sure it's not the first time. But why were they recording? And then you heard that they don't have any cameras in the classrooms. And I was surprised because most schools in Houston have cameras. Hi, Gypsy. Hi, sweetie. Most schools in Houston, especially special needs and preschools, they have cameras in the classroom. And I was shocked to hear they didn't have that in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, because you get codes to log into and you can see what's going on in the classroom. So I was really, really shocked to hear that. Here we go. We have this update, and then I'm going to get out of here and finish listening to Kim Rhea so I can get these key timestamps down that I want to do my commentary on. But let's listen to this.
Also in the courtroom today, the victim's biological mother and half-sister.
In a new exclusive interview, they sat down with NBC Connecticut's Amanda Pitts to share how they have been searching for him for years.
It's hard to think about what he had to go through. Just knowing that he was right there.
Tracy Valorand has spent the last 3 decades wondering where her son was.
Now her name is out. Tracy Valorand. Now her name is out. She didn't want to be known. Not at all.
Not knowing he was a few towns over, allegedly being held captive in a room at the hands of his stepmother.
I don't hate people at all. This one, I hate.
The 52-year-old gave up custody of her son shortly after his birth in 1993. When asked why, she says the story starts with her daughter, Heather Tessman, and losing custody of her back in 1990.
DCF took her. Said that she had shaken baby syndrome.
Valorand says her daughter's father was charged, and Tessman went to live with foster parents. She said the custody battle. Around this time is when she met her son's father, Craig Sullivan.
I ended up trying to kill myself because I knew I wasn't getting her back. Craig would visit me while I was in the hospital. After we got married we had our son.
But she still struggled.
I was still having
Ooh, the daughter looks just like the mom.
issues coping. Things didn't work out between the two of us. And I was thinking that I was giving my son a better chance at a full life. If I had known what...
See, now right here, she's kind of believable. Right here, she's kind of believable. She really is, but I still don't understand how your sister called you. She knew the home, and you never went there. You never went to that home to find out anything about your child.
I just can't fathom. I have no words.
She's believable right here.
Her son went on to live with his father and Kimberly Sullivan. Valoran said she made attempts to get back into her son's life.
There was a park that I was told Craig would actually take him for walks. I would park there and be there for hours just trying to see if I seen him. Never seen him.
When he turned 18, did you try more?
Absolutely. High school yearbooks. I know I started there. Nothing in Waterbury, nothing in Wolcott.
I didn't have any reason to worry because as far as I knew, he was with his parents, living his life.
His life, according to him, was spent in seclusion.
What were they doing? Were they waiting for him to actually die? What were they going to do then?
Going forward, Valoran and Tessman say they plan to be at every court appearance of Sullivan's.
I'm going to be there for my son.
I'm going to be there for my brother. Just stared daggers through his skull.
As for the son,
this is in Waterbury, Connecticut. This is about the young man that set fire to his room. He had been held captive for over 20 years. He's 5'9", weighed 68 pounds, and he's 32 years old. So the stepmom, Kimberly Sullivan, is just the one you just saw in court. She's back in court tomorrow. They're looking at her bail release terms, and they're looking at adding more charges to her. She starved this young man. She was giving him 2 cups of water a day, and the other times he was drinking out the toilet, and she was giving him a sandwich. Okay?
And brother they haven't yet met. They hope to someday.
She looks like Sutton on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She's a broke down Sutton. That's what she reminds me of. A broke down Sutton on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Seriously. Hold on. Look at her. She looks like Sutton Strack, but a Timu version, as they called it. Yep, it's amazing, Zelda. And the fact that he didn't care if he lived or died in that fire, and he said it just to escape or to be noticed or to get attention, it says a lot. He would rather die than keep living like that.
Through his skull.
As for the son and brother they haven't yet met, they hope to someday.
Now, before we go on, there are twin sisters that were living in that house. Those are Kimberly Sullivan's kids and the dad. There were twin girls that lived there that knew this young man was being tortured. They went to school. They went to an all-girls school, which was a private school. They got to live their life. They got jobs. They did everything that young man didn't do. He didn't go to school past the 4th grade. They pulled him out of school when DFS started coming around. They pulled him out of school. They went to the police station saying that they were being harassed by DFS. Oh, she looks like Windwalker too?
Stage right now. So
If he reaches out, absolutely. But it's not about us. It's about him and his recovery.
You're just waiting on that call.
Yeah.
You could just hear the heartbreak and anger in their voices. They are, though, grateful for the community support. So far, a GoFundMe for the victim has already raised nearly $200,000.
Damn, it was at 105 the last time I showed it. Almost $200,000 now. Jesus.
Waterbury, Amanda Pitts, NBC, Connecticut News.
So that was the exclusive interview that they did. And it's just crazy. It is crazy. Now, tomorrow when she goes to court, we would definitely be there. Right after she goes to court, I have to see what time. But that exclusive interview gave me a little more insight into the mother, because she does look, in that interview, she looks devastated. I am looking for any updates with John Paul Miller, Pastor John Paul Miller. I'm actually looking to see if there's anything going on there. This happens a lot in foster care, and how parents give their kids to another parent or another family member thinking they will be better off. I can't blame the mama. Yeah, she was going through something. Kirsten and Travis, her husband is sick, waiting for a heart transplant. They are homeless. Really? Huh. They're homeless and her husband is waiting for a heart transplant. How is he getting the proper food and stuff that he needs in order for him to be a good recipient for a heart transplant? You know, you have to meet certain criteria in order to be a transplant recipient, period. You have to meet certain criteria. So if he's homeless, how is he going to meet that criteria? They're just not going to say, hey, let me just give you this heart. I mean, no offense. That's not what they're going to do. So how is that possible? So you guys know that Scott Peterson was attacked in prison, right? You guys heard about that. Scott Peterson was attacked. And then we do have one more story, but I meant to show you this yesterday and I didn't, but I'm going to show it to you. And this involves a mother that was attacked by her daughters. So, well, is it her daughters or her children? I can't remember, but I meant to show you this yesterday. So I'm going to go ahead and show it to you. Now, Isaiah Thomas, that's on the screen. Well, Isaiah, that's on the screen, not Thomas. Thomas is the basketball player. Yeah, Scott Peterson was attacked last week. Matter of fact, I'll show that too. Isaiah right here. See right here? The TV anchor person, Isaiah, was arrested again for DUI. Isaiah has been arrested twice in Houston that I know of for DUI. He was arrested last month on a DUI charge. Scott Peterson, no, he wasn't drowned in the bay. His wife and child was. Good morning, Arkansas. Good morning. So this is the story about a mother who turned off the Wi-Fi. Well, I've actually did that to my sons too a couple of times. And she was attacked by her children.
Connected to Wi-Fi. They allege the girls then plotted to kill their mother. Those teens, ages 14, by her teenage daughters after she disconnected to Wi-Fi. They allege the girls then plotted to kill their mother. Those teens, ages 14, 15, and 16 years old, said to have grabbed kitchen knives, chasing their mom, attempting to stab her. The mother was hit with a brick and the teen's grandmother was knocked over while trying to intervene. Nearby neighbors say the family has had a history of disturbances at their home. Joining us to talk about this disturbing situation that's still under investigation.
Aesop, you didn't know he was arrested again? He's an alcoholic. This is the second time that I know of. Somebody said, no, Heidi, he's been arrested a couple of other times, but I don't think he was charged with DWI. But yeah, last month.
As we speak, trauma therapist Chow Win and parent Narika Henderson.
This
So,
is the story
Narika, first of all,
that I wanted to show you guys. They attacked her for turning off the Wi-Fi. I'm like, wait the hell a minute here. You attacked your mother because she turned off your Wi-Fi. And they were going to kill her. I was like, are you kidding me? These people are crazy. There's a little thing on TikTok about a guy that was in the basement. His mother turned off the Wi-Fi, and then she locked him down in the basement. He broke through the door to come at his mother. So I was like, oh my God. So you don't play with these teenagers and their Wi-Fi. Okay. Okay. So let's go here. But that's what I wanted to show you. I'm going to show you the one right now about Scott Peterson. I thought you guys knew that, but I will show you the person that attacked Scott. He talked to Vinnie Politan about it, but Scott Peterson was attacked. He was attacked, and good for him. Don't really care. Let's take a look. This is the
Desto.
Here we go.
But it was also the exact place Scott Peterson said he went fishing. Peterson's own alibi put him at the crime scene. Then he had a trial and a verdict that was celebrated by the public outside the courthouse. He was convicted and sentenced to death. That was back in 2004. Then in 2021, Peterson was resentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. That put Peterson into the general prison population. And recently, he was in the news after getting into a fight during a pickleball match in the yard. Tonight, we get the real story about what happened as we speak with the inmate who took down Scott Peterson, revealing the harsh realities of life in prison and the reason the wife/baby killer was beaten up.
I'm Vinnie Politan. Thank you so much for joining us tonight here on Closing Arguments. It's great to have you with us. The murder of Laci Peterson was absolutely heartbreaking.
Okay, hold on.
She was about to deliver a child.
Fast forward a little bit.
She was about to bring life into this world and was taken by the man who was fighting with Scott Peterson.
Hi, Michelle.
His name is Charles Miles. He and his girlfriend Tessa Morato spoke to me the other day. I want to play for you that interview so we get the insight into what really happened in the yard and what life is like for Scott Peterson behind bars. Take a listen.
The call from
Charles Miles.
an incarcerated individual at.
I'm sorry. I don't think Scott wants to play with Charles. Do we see the tattoos? We see the tattoo by the eye. We see the tattoos. Charles smiling. You don't want to play with Charles. Don't play with Charles.
Mule Creek State Prison, Ione, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Hello?
Baby, you there?
Yes.
Oh, that's the girlfriend.
Okay, well,
Baby,
Vinny.
you there?
Charles, how you doing? This is Vinnie.
First of all, that's illegal. You can't do a three-way call. Can't do a three-way call. How the hell did that happen?
Politan from Court TV.
Hey, what's going on, sir? How you doing?
Okay. What happened in that pickleball match with Scott Peterson?
Okay, I wasn't in the pickle. I was not in a pickleball match.
So it wasn't about pickleball?
Yeah.
Everyone was saying it was about pickleball. Something happened, but you're saying it had nothing to do with pickleball?
Not from my perspective, not at all. I mean, I guess it could be, perceived like that because
Scott was playing pickleball, not you.
Yeah, he was playing pickleball. I was not. I was actually I was on the yard and I was arguing with the cops about just something to do with my tablet. We got tablets in here now.
Okay.
And I was recently transferred out of here, and basically, they had me messed up in the system, like saying that I had one still assigned or whatever, and I couldn't get, even though I had one that was unassigned, I couldn't even get it. I couldn't even get it to work. And basically, I was up there trying to clear that issue up with the police, and it was probably the third, fourth, or fifth time I've been up there trying to resolve this issue. And, kind of like what the cops do here is they just tell you whatever you want to hear, like, oh, yeah, they'll be here tomorrow, or, come back later, we're busy, or just whatever. They just try to say something to get you just to go away. They just try to brush you off.
Okay, so you're in the middle. So you're in the middle of speaking with the. Are they the guards or is it actual police officers that are there?
Yeah. No, the COs that are
the COs. Okay.
On site, you know what I mean.
So you're going back and forth with the COs, and Scott is playing pickleball. And how close are you to him at the point that you're speaking with the COs?
Okay, that's probably about 20, 30 feet away.
Okay.
Right? So once I started to realize that, I wasn't getting anywhere, I was right there with my cellmate. So we just started kind of walking away, and I was explaining to him, what they said, what the cops said. And then all of a sudden my cellie just switched gears and said, hey, there's the baby killer. Right. And he was pointing towards the pickleball court. And I could not tell which guy he was talking about because Scott had he had a hat on and he had sunglasses on. And he felt he looks really dark, like he's been in the sun a lot or something. So I'm kind of looking for this light skinned, clean cut dude that, that everybody's seen on court,
right,
from the pictures or whatever, right? He didn't look like that at all. He looked like Mexican dude that's been in the sun a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he's got a ponytail now. Doesn't he have a ponytail or a man bun?
No, he cut that off. He doesn't have that either.
Oh, okay. He cut that. Gotcha. So you're actually looking for him. Had you ever met him before? Had your cellmate ever met him before?
No. My cellie knew who he was, so I kind of just took his word that that's who he was talking about. But the person he was pointing out didn't look anything like him. I used to be a gang member in here. I stepped away from that. But on that, when I was in general population, we don't allow people that harm innocent people like that. You know what I'm saying? Like people that kill their wives and stuff like that, or child molesters like that. I'm not saying he's a child molester, but he killed an innocent person and he killed and resulted in the death of an unborn child.
Now we hear this from the inmate. They don't allow that. Remember when they put Jeffrey Dahmer out in general population, that didn't end well for him either. Okay. Let's see.
I was he was the first person in California to ever be charged with killing someone, a double murder that included the fetus, right?
Right. Well Lacey was 9 months pregnant. She was 9 months pregnant. And they even had a name for the baby.
Well,
the baby's name was Connor.
Right. There was a second person that was charged in that same capacity, right? Someone did a drive-by shooting, a gang-related drive-by shooting in the Richmond area, right? And they were the second person to get charged with that. And that person was actually housed with me in Contra Costa County Jail. So that's how I became real familiar with the case, right? So when I started to learn about the case, I learned that the baby's body was actually washed up on the actual beach where I used to go and play as a child, right?
Oh, wow.
Right there on the Richmond Point, the Richmond Point Pinole shoreline. So one of my most treasured memories as a child, right? Going down there with my dad and fishing and going down to the shore, pick up rocks and seashells and stuff like that, right? And that's like, something a treasure that I value. It kind of just hit me because that's where the baby was found, And I've always thought about that. I've always, kind of just, I felt like it just ruined, like, I don't know, as men, we need to be protectors of women and stuff like that. And I just, this case has always kind of had a profound effect on me. So
you knew about Scott beforehand. You knew about him. Now he's there because he was on death row for many, many years. He got himself off of death row.
I actually just had an incident with a child molester, person that killed children and raped them and killed them on another yard where I took off on one of those dudes. You know what I mean? Someone that was released from death row over on A yard.
Wow. Okay, so what happens now? So now you're walking with your cellie. You guys are talking about it. He's identifying Scott.
Really?
What happens next?
But what's really interesting about this is actually the night before is I was alone and walking back from Pilline. I felt the need to pray about to God about many wrongs that I have done, and that I have always had good intentions, whether it was to feed myself or my family or avenge terrible things done to children by men in here who have committed some of the worst crimes imaginable. So much that it hurts my heart and soul when I'm around or near them. So many fake people in here talk about this and that, saying, oh, someone should do something about this or that, but hardly anyone ever does. I recently got into a lot of trouble beating up child molesters and their kind on other yards, prisons, etc. I know I have to stay out of trouble in order to get out.
Yeah, he ain't getting out anytime soon. He's making it a habit of beating up child molesters. Oh my God, he's making it a habit.
Right. I've been in the hole. I've lost property. I've lost privileges, money, and so many struggles lately. But through the grace of God, He has brought me a beautiful and honest, God-fearing woman in my life, and she deserves so much better. And I would do anything to show her that I am a man who would do anything to protect her and her two beautiful children, both little girls. And I prayed to God to give me a sign and show me the way. Fast forward, the next day, I had initially went to yard to talk to the sergeant about my tablet, which every inmate is allowed to have.
Right. So here's what I'm trying to understand, Charles. The night before, you're having these thoughts. The next day now, you see Scott Peterson. Is Scott Peterson the sign that you thought was being sent to you, seeing him on that pickleball court?
Well, look.
He didn't know it was Scott at that point. He did his cellie yelled, "It's the baby killer," but he did not. It didn't click in his head that's Scott Peterson. He just thought it was a random dude because of the way he looked.
Okay.
So when I turned around, because I was looking back and forth like with the cops, like I was telling my cellie about the issue. Okay, all I did was I turned around when my cellie said that, and I literally seen this guy running towards us with the paddle in his hand, right? And he was aggressively running towards us, and it looked like he was just going to run right into me. I said, "Hey, stop, excuse me," you know what I mean? And he's like, "Hey, I'm getting the ball or whatever." And I said, "Stop." He did not stop. He tried to just literally run right through me or something to go get the ball. And at which time I just went in attack mode. I just started swinging at him, and that's how it started.
So at that point, did you know this was the guy that your cellie was pointing at? So did you suspect that it may have been Scott at that moment?
Yes, I had a feeling it could be, but I didn't know for sure. So I did not know for sure until we were on the ground cuffed when this all finished. But I mean, this went on for a while. Like I beat the hell out of him. Like I beat him down to the ground. Like
did he fight back at all?
Hit me. Yeah, like he was trying to wrestle me. He actually tried to throw me on the ground. So I had to, we were struggling on the ground. Like it was either him getting on top of me or me getting on top of him. So I had to get on top of him. Somehow I was able to overpower him. I got on top of him, and I just started punching him out, kind of like a UFC fight, like where they're on top of the guy. You know what I mean? Like down it on top of him.
Was he trying to get you with the paddle? Was he trying to hit you with the paddle?
I don't know what the hell happened to the paddle. Like when I think when I first punched him, I don't know what happened to the paddle. I think he may have dropped it or something. I don't know if I got hit with it. I don't know what happened. To be honest, it's kind of like a blur. When I went into attack mode, I tend to just kind of it's like fighting for my life type thing,
Yeah. So who made the first contact with who? Did he run into you first?
Hold on a second. I just want to know, is that a picture of Stand-Up Guy's wife? Is that a picture of Stand-Up Guy's wife? Muggsy, do you know? Is that a picture of Stand-Up Guy's wife? Yeah, we don't do that. No, we don't do that. Don't bring that Stand-Up Guy's wife, right? I just saw that. Yeah, I don't do that. Don't play that man. Don't bring that man's wife picture in my chat. Don't do that.
His first contact with me, he ran into me. He didn't stop. He didn't say excuse me. He just tried to bump into me and then kind of go around me but I told him to stop. Wait. He said he was getting the ball. Hey man, I'll get the ball for you or something. You're not just go to my personal space. And when he proceeded to just kind of aggressively just continue doing whatever he wanted to do, that's when I decided to launch my attack.
So what's the reaction? What's your cellmate doing at that moment, and the rest of the guys that are there? I mean, what are they doing while you and Scott are on the ground?
Okay, the guy that was with Scott Peterson, and the entire time this guy was talking, this guy was saying. Talking about he was going to get in it, that he was going to beat my ass. He just kept talking, saying that he even encouraged the police to hit me with the baton. The police hit me with the baton twice, and he was telling them to hit me again and again. I heard my cellmate saying something fool, don't worry about him. If something happens, basically my cellie made it. I could hear my cellie in the background, letting it be known, it's one-on-one,
And so no one else is getting involved in the fight. It's just you and Scott Peterson on the ground.
It ends with me on top of him punching him out. He had grabbed my hand. He had hit me. So I got a big ass bite on my thumb. It's like a jagged wound that it bled for days and days. There's no mention of my injuries. My girlfriend, she has the report right there. If you want to read verbatim the report, babe, you can do that at any time he asked or whatever.
Yeah, I can read it.
There should be a list. Yeah, read the report. This is the official report.
Gotcha.
We're gonna hear.
Okay, circumstances of violation. On Sunday, March 9th, 2025, at approximately 14:48 hours, while assigned as Facility B Program Sergeant, I heard via my institutional radio code 1 Facility B for a 1 versus 1 fight on the yard. After a subsequent review of the audio video surveillance system, it was observed that Miles AL0502 committed the act of battery on Peterson. It was observed via AVSS Miles attacked Peterson on Facility B yard by the pickleball court by striking Peterson in the upper face and torso area, utilizing his fist. Responding staff arrived on scene and gave orders to get down, which Miles failed to comply. As a result, chemical agents were deployed, which did not have the desired effect, as Miles continued to attack Peterson by punching him with his fist. Officer A. Matson utilized a handheld baton strike, which stopped Miles' attack and quelled the incident. Inmate Miles and Peterson were secured in handcuffs and assisted to a seated position. Medical arrived on scene and conducted a medical evaluation of Peterson and Miles to document any injuries. Upon completion of the CDCR, both inmates were escorted to Facility B decontamination area and afforded the opportunity to decontaminate. Upon completion, Miles and Peterson were escorted to the Facility B program office holding cell area without further incident. The medical form 7219 report of injury depicted Peterson had injuries to his face, head, upper torso, and rear upper torso consistent with being the victim of an attack. And that's it.
All right, wait till you hear what happens after the fight. There's more to this story. Plus, we'll get reaction from our think tank as they listen along with me.
Hold on.
Plus, coming up next hour.
Hold on. Let's go back.
Hear about what happens after the fight. So what happened? Have you seen him since? Are you separated? Are you kept away from one another? How is that being handled?
Yeah, he was placed, they were placed together right after the fight, I guess in cages, like a little bit apart from each other. So ask him about that.
Yeah.
Because they had a long conversation. I think they talked for like 2 hours or something.
Oh, then he talked to him for two?
Yeah, Charles talked to him for like 2 hours.
So afterwards, you guys are now cuffed and taken away. You're placed in cells, and my understanding is you're next to one another inside these cells?
Right, we're a couple cells away, but there's probably about 2 cages in between us, but nobody was in them. So yeah, we were the only 2 people that were in the hallway.
Did you talk to him?
They got a hallway where they put I talked to him for hours. We were in the cages probably from what time does it say that incident happened, babe?
14:48 was the violation time.
Okay, so that's 2:48. So we were in the cage at least 2 hours together.
Wow. So in those 2 hours, what do you talk to Scott Peterson about for 2 hours after beating him up?
So basically, I let him know about, the issue that I had with the police. I told him, that I didn't really know if it was him or not. I told him, that I've been struggling with these issues about, I've had, problems with dealing with people of his like and kind. I told him, look,
don't play that.
That I'm trying to be a better person, and that I told him that, look, man. Also that I seen him running up on me with what I thought was a weapon, and just hearing that he was a baby killer and all that, it just triggered like a primal urge to, want to defend myself and my girl and just, women in general,
Sure. What did he say?
How is he defending his girl? You saw the guy was playing pickleball. He was trying to get the ball. You're telling him to stop. How are you defending your girl? Your girl ain't got nothing to do with Scott. You just said that you made that you had a thing about beating up molesters and baby killers. So how are you defending your girl?
What was his response?
I'm not mad about it.
He tried to convince me that he didn't do it, and I told him that I knew the evidence. I knew the evidence that they used to convict him. Right, it was kind of cheesy. Right, like they try to say that they picked up on a dog scent and all that. Like the dog picked up the scent at the pier, basically, and that was pretty much kind of like the only evidence that they actually had.
Well, they also had his wife's hair was in his boat, and he told everyone.
I didn't know all that.
Yeah, his alibi was being in San Francisco Bay. He said he went fishing on Christmas Eve in San Francisco Bay, which is nowhere near where he was living. He was living out in Modesto. Why would you go all the way to San Francisco Bay in a little tiny boat to go fishing? And then exactly where he said he went fishing is where, Lacey and Connor were found. He put himself at the scene of the crime.
One thing that I noticed, right, was that he's really quick to just agree with anything you say, right? He's kind of like, he's basically like a manipulator. Like he'll just, kind of like go along with what you're saying. He said that he was innocent, that, he said that he was looking forward to having a child and stuff like that. And he pretty much tried to minimize like what he did or what, what was going on at the time. He just said that, he was a dick, that he cheated on his wife. And he told me that basically that the family believes him now. And, like he's got this chance to go on with the Innocence Project and all that.
Not the family. Lacey's sister, who's married to his brother, believes him. Not the family. Lacey's sister. You lied to your girlfriend, Amber, whatever her name is, and told her that your wife had died a month or two before you K'd her. You are convicted of killing her and your son.
Kind of
Stop
stuff.
it.
So I didn't know that Lacey's family was actually supporting this.
No, Lacey's family is not supporting him.
Thank you.
No.
Is that a lie? Okay, so that was a lie. Then.
I'll tell you what. If they were supporting him, I think I would have heard of it. I mean, every time he comes up, I've heard from his family for sure. Like his family is supporting him.
And his
I have
sister-in-law.
not heard anyone from Lacey's side come out and say free Scott Peterson.
Nope, they're not.
And during the trial, I mean, it was very clear to all of us how they felt about this. I mean, very, very clear.
Yeah.
So I think that could potentially be some fast talking. I haven't spoken to the family in years, so I don't know. I haven't heard firsthand, but that would be huge news if Lacey Peterson's.
I'm just going to say Lacey Peterson's family is not supporting Scott. They show up at every hearing in opposition of Scott. The only one that's supporting Scott is his brother's wife, who is Lacey's sister. That's it.
His family came out and said, "We free Scott Peterson." I have not heard that. That's all I can tell you is I haven't heard that. I haven't spoken to them.
Right.
But that's interesting that he's saying that Lacey's family is supporting his freedom at this moment. That's interesting. So are you both in a place now where you will see each other on a daily basis?
Yes, we actually. Well, the next day, I told him like, look, man, he's got all the money in the world in here, so people are willing to do anything for money. So I realized, like the predicament I'm in.
Wait a minute. He said he's got all the money in the world in there. Really? Huh. Okay. So Scott can get a hit on him. Charles,
he could easily just pay a bunch of inmates to try to get on me.
Right.
So, I kind of figured, and my girlfriend, this is one of the closest prisons to my girlfriend, and she comes to visit me. She lives about an hour and 10 minutes away. So I just don't want to lose that opportunity to visit with my girlfriend. So I figured the best thing that I could do is kind of just squash the issue and let him know that.
Squash the issue. Don't whip his ass. You don't want him to pay prisoners to jump you. So you're going to kowtow to Scott Peterson so you can still stay there to see your girlfriend. I guess so. He said he's got all the money in the world in there. Maybe we should go to prison so we can get all the money in the world. Huh.
There's no big deal. So I told him, when we come out the cages, look, we're just going to shake hands, whatever, and we'll just, we'll be good, So we signed the chrono to be on the yard together. And I actually went to the education that he works in. He works in the educational building. I got into one of the educational classes up there, so I see him about once a week, and we don't have no problem,
Okay, well, Charles, that's the right approach to all this, right? You don't want to penalize your life because of what someone else did in their life. You know what I mean? So I think you're making the right choices now to just be as peaceful as possible, stay out of trouble, and so you can work through your time. How much time do you have left inside?
Well, originally I had a 68 to life sentence for a gang-related murder. Dang! The guy had a gun on him. I had a jury that deliberated for 3.5 days on this case, but I was subsequently found guilty, and I didn't really think I ever had a chance to go home until recently, when they started doing youth parole, which lowers pretty much crimes of anybody that committed it under 25.
Right.
Under the age of 25. Basically, everybody has a 25 to life sentence. So you start eligibility after 20 years. You do 80% of your sentence. So that kind of like.
So how much time have you served so far?
I've already done 18 years. So
okay.
I'll be
all right.
So in 2 years.
So. Don't do what you did to Scott Peterson to anyone else, right?
For sure.
Yeah. Then you're going to get a second chance. You have an opportunity for a second chance. Yeah. So, if you have to defend yourself, you have to defend yourself. But don't get yourself into any sort of mess because of things that other people have done. You know what I mean? To me, you shouldn't penalize yourself for that. You know what I mean?
I'm done. Look, I'm done with
that's good.
Jailhouse vigilante thing or whatever. like I'm hanging up the gloves,
How about this? Have you thought about picking up a pickleball racket? Is that one step too far,
Maybe
Charles?
I'll pick it up. Yeah, I think that's a little closer, a little too far at the moment. But
So Charles Mills, okay, the one that we hear talking right now, he's at Mill Creek. He's where the two women were murdered at. That's where he's at. He's at Mill Creek. He's at the same prison where these two women were murdered at. Charles Creek is in jail for a gangland murder. He was convicted of gang-related murder in 2011. He was sentenced to 58 years to life in prison. God damn. Oh,
maybe you and Scott could play doubles together because pickleball. I play pickleball all the time. Doubles is fun.
In 2022.
Yeah, I see Scott out all the time. I think he actually told me that if I wanted to go out there or something like that.
He was a good athlete in college. He was a college athlete. Is he still athletic? I know he's not a good fighter.
I don't really know. Yeah, no, he lost that.
He lost the fight.
But hey, I will say this. He's pretty damn strong for being like an older dude. Like if he's like 50, I think he's like 52, and I'm going to be 40 years old this year. I mean, he's pretty strong.
Okay.
Like he tried to throw me down, and like I said, I had to do what I had to do.
Yeah. Well, Charles, anything else that I didn't ask you about that you want to let me know?
Just that I love my girl, I love and her two kids, and I want to be a better man for them,
I think that was the sign, right? This thing happened with Scott Peterson. Yeah. You get out of it relatively unscathed. So now you have an opportunity to do everything you can. And when you have the opportunity to speak to the parole board, you can tell them a good story. You can tell them, the good things that you're doing, how you're staying out of trouble, how you are.
All right, that's enough of that. So he did a three-way call, which in most states you really can't do because they'll tell you when you're doing the call that the call cannot be transferred, the call cannot be connected, and that I don't know how they're going to get away with that, but he's trying to stay out of trouble for his girl and her two little girls. So you committed a murder. You got 58 years to life. And this woman is in a relationship with you, and she has two little girls. Got you. Okay. We're going to see him on Love After Lockup soon. So again, that was Scott Peterson. That was Charles Miles that whipped his ass, that beat him to the ground, as you heard him say. Good luck with that, Charles, for doing all your vigilante stuff. I appreciate it. But now it sounds like that you're really friendly with Scott Peterson, and you're believing that Lacey's family is now supporting Scott. Now, if you knew all the evidence in the case, you would have known that what happened. So you didn't know all the evidence, but that's the little place we used to go play as a kid. Charles, thank you for your service. We no longer need it. Someone else would take care of Scott. Let's see. Is there anything else? And guys, let me tell you, the only reason I recognize Suge's wife picture is because he showed his wife one time, and I was looking, and I'm like, wait a minute, that face looks familiar. I do not allow other people's pictures or names in my chat. And I know that's not her. That woman very seldom goes on YouTube. I've heard her husband said over and over again, she doesn't go on YouTube. I don't want anybody's face in my chat or name in my chat and then when I went to look, that account was created about 5 months ago. That is not his wife. I don't allow anybody's names in my chat or anybody's pictures in my chat that doesn't belong to them. I don't do that. Yeah, so I remember when he used to show her face. Yeah, he's going to get in trouble for that, Arkansas, because when my nephew called me one time, when he was in, and it clearly states on the call, you cannot do that. I remember I was on a call with Amber one time when her stepson called, and she was able to click him in, but we didn't do a three-way call. We were already on a call talking, but it clearly states you can't transfer calls. Thank you, Tommy Sticks. I appreciate it. I know who you are, Tommy. I know who you are. Thank you. But again, I don't know how that's going to play with him because he may get in trouble for that interview he did. But please don't do that in my chat, okay? I don't want none of that in my chat. And there's only a few people that'll know who it is, like Damn It Mandy knew. If MRE was in here, he would know. Rat Trap would know. Muggsy probably left, but I know Muggsy would know. Don't do that in my chat. I don't play that. I don't go in anybody else's chats and disrespect them. Don't come in my chat and do that here. Also, yesterday, Savage is supposed to be going live today. She promised. Savage, are you going live today? Yeah, I saw. I have my studio open on another screen so I can see it, Arkansas. So I saw it, and when I looked at the face, I'm like, wait a minute. That looks like his wife. Yeah, we don't do that. And she is a pretty woman, though. She's a pretty woman. And to come in here with her full name, don't do that. Yeah, I like Tommy Stiggs. So, yeah, don't do that. Don't come in my chat with that. I noticed that somebody is going around with the name Heidi_White. I laugh when I see it because it was brought to my attention when I was in George's chat. Somebody went in there and they either hit them or blocked. I mean, not hit them, timed them out or blocked them. And I had just gone in the chat. I was laughing so hard. Can you come up with another name, please? Please, you know, I think it's funny. I don't care. Muggsy, my sweetie. So, okay, Savage will be going live today. I didn't get a chance to watch MRE and Rat Trap City last night, so I'm going to listen to them as I do my things that I have to do today. They really do have a good show that they do. And they went on last night at 10:30. As I said, I was knocked out. So I'm listening to them. And then I'll be back at 1. But you guys have a great Arkansas. Arkansas, are you going live today? So Arkansas has a good channel. I keep telling you guys that. Watch Your Crazy. I listened for a little bit yesterday. It was yesterday, but then I actually went to sleep. No, and then Josie. Oh my God, Josie. Hold on. Let me just I don't know if you guys are aware, but Josie, a lot of you guys may not be aware, but Josie wrote 2 books now, and she's going to do 3 books. There will be another book. Let me just show you the MobTube Chronicles. Hold on. So Josie's book is coming out, and it is out. I heard that the Bee was quite elated when she thought that was an issue between myself and Josie. It was a misunderstanding. Oh, okay, can we do the phone calls tomorrow morning, please? Can we? Okay, I'm gonna do the phone calls with Kim and Lisa at 1. Tomorrow we'll do the phone calls with with Stephen Stearns, but I'm gonna show you Josie's book real quick. And this, hold on, but I heard she was really elated. Girl, stop. Just stop. Do your do content. Shit. Do something. Hold on, here we go. She has a second channel called Just Josie, where she does cooking and stuff on it. But that was her vacation last year. Hold on. Let me just get here.
Hi, hello everybody. Good afternoon. This is just a quick little ditty to let you all know.
A little ditty?
The book is here. Ignore this grey thing across. This is it just says this isn't for resale.
Not for resale.
This particular copy, let me see where you can see it. This particular copy is because you know, it's like a proofread, and once it's approved, then the book will be on the shelves. It should take about, by the time I'm going to go through it, it should be on the shelves in about 72 hours. So make sure you get your copy.
It's on the shelves now.
Yeah, the Mob 2 Chronicles 2. I do have a few more of these left. I was doing a giveaway. I gave out 5. I'll give out a couple more. Mob 2 Chronicles 1 for those that haven't read it and want to read it. We're still trying to set up the, you know, it'll be on Kindle. Both, but this one is already on Kindle. This, the new one, this cameraman. Anyway, the new one will also be on Kindle. But I'm trying to set it up for audio for people that can't see.
It's available on Kindle now. She did an interview yesterday with Grumpy. It is now available on Kindle. How do you do that, Arkansas?
But it's a little bit difficult to do. You've got to have certain microphones, and I don't know. It's a process, you know. But push come to shove, I'll just read it myself. You know what I mean? So it'll be all right. Either way. Anyway, I'm excited. Get your copy. It's a banger. Everybody's in it. Everyone that, you know, I felt was important are in it. Well, not important. They're not all important. It's just important things that happened are in it. If I forgot anyone, apologies. 3's in the works. Trust and believe. 3 is in the works. But anyway, that's Chronicles 1.
There you go.
And Chronicles 2. So
I'm gonna tell her I need Chronicles 1.
I'll let you know as soon as it's on the shelves, and go ahead and get your copy. See you all later. Bye now.
Hi, Josie. So that's Josie. She goes by the MobTube Chronicles. Hi, Josie, there you are. Josie. I sent you an email this morning, but I don't have MobTube Chronicles 1. And I bought 2, but I'm going to give that copy to a friend of mine's. I'm going to keep the autograph copy that you're sending me. But guys, MobTube Chronicles is available. It's on Kindle now as well. You can get it on Amazon. I believe Josie referred to the beat in the book as the book. She also called her an organ grinder's monkey. So she also referred to her as that as well. But she was so excited when Josie went off on me, and I didn't even finish listening to it. I told her I just heard, and Heidi Black. I'm like, wait a minute, what did I do? I was laughing. But Josie and I spoke. It was a misunderstanding. And see, that's what people do. You have a conversation. That's what people do. It's a misunderstanding. We spoke. We got it cleared up. I spoke to Grumpy. We got it cleared up because I would never ignore anyone in my chat, especially Grumpy. He's always been nice to me. Well, that's anybody. Grumpy, Josie, any one of you guys. Somebody sent me a message one day and said, Heidi, I spoke to you a couple of times in a chat and you didn't say anything. Well, a lot of times if I'm modding a chat, I'm really listening until I hear, like Savage says, okay, what's going on in here? Then I'm going to go back and look at the chat. Same thing with George. Oh, yep, you did. You deemed her the bug. But it was a misunderstanding. And that's how messy she is. She has nothing in her life except mess. Oh, good, Josie. Good, good, good. Hi, Dorit. Good. I don't have Mob 2 Chronicles 1. And if you want me to pay for it, I'll pay for it. But I sent you my address. So you can mail me out the book. I really appreciate that. And I was playing because they said, what channel? The question was, what channel did people, no matter who it was, would always go to? I knew it was MRE. First time I said Lico, MRE started laughing. No, I said FBS first. And then, Josie and Grumpy were still talking, so they weren't even doing it yet. And then I said Lico, and MRE started laughing. So when they asked the question again, I typed real quick, MRE. Everybody would go to MRE's chat. Thank you, Josie. I appreciate it. I really, really do. But I'm looking forward to reading the book. I really am. I know Bambi said the first one was really, really good. And everything in me was supposed to order that first one, but I don't know why I didn't. But I ordered the second one. It should be here today or tomorrow. And then I will give that book to a friend of mine, and I will keep the autographed copy one. So anyway, that is the Mob 2 Chronicles right there. Josie also does a lot of good cooking on her channel. I do watch and I see, I'm like, oh shit, that looks good. She made that chicken Marcella that time, and I made it like about a week or two later, and I forgot to film it, but I made it because I saw her make it. I still need to make the fish pie that Ann made. I will be doing that as well, and I will be filming it. Yep. And that's what you said. Even the other side went to his chat. And I knew it was MRE. But as soon as you asked the question for real, I typed MRE because I was like, I was just joking with the other two. But anyway, guys, I really appreciate all of you guys being here. And Josie, I am looking forward to reading your book. The book is on Amazon. It's available on Kindle. And please, get a copy, order it on Kindle, listen to it as you're doing work or as you're driving. I used to listen to audiobooks all the time when I would be taking a long trip. So I appreciate each and every one of you guys being here, and get Josie's book. I hear it's a banger. Look, a banger. I hear it's a banger, but I love you guys. I will see you all later. Bye, Oh, wait a minute. Josie, did you want to come up and talk about your book and tell them what the book is about? Or you can just, because Grumpy did an interview with Josie yesterday, Grumpy Italian. If somebody can drop Grumpy Italian's link, he did an interview with Josie yesterday, and it was a really good interview. And I liked when Grumpy, Josie, and DJ Mandingo are on panel together. I really, really do. It's always a banger of a time. But this is Grumpy's channel. I'm going to drop Grumpy's channel. And then we have, Grumpy has another channel where he's going to be starting to do interviews on. And where is it? Oh, it was in the description of the video. Hold on a second. Let me go to the video from yesterday, because I was already subscribed to that channel. And hold on. It's called Grumpy Interviews. So let me drop that link as well. Okay, Josie, no problem. So this is Grumpy. The first channel is the Grumpy channel where he goes on with DJ Mandingo. The second channel I dropped is Grumpy Interviews. He's going to be starting doing a lot more interviews. DJ is my interweb husband. Hi, Party Rock. Hi, sweetie. So those are Grumpy's channels. And the interview he did with Josie yesterday was really good. You can go check that out. She talks about the book, how MobTube Chronicles 1 came about, and then how MobTube Chronicles 2 came about. And people are always saying, oh my God, people won't believe this. I need to write a book about it. Well, guess what? She wrote a book about it. She wrote a book about it. Read about it. See what's going on. See what's happened before we even knew about MobTube. Okay. Yes, Savage is going live tonight. Don't come in my chat starting shit, Party Rock. Okay. You're trying to disrupt. DJ is a hoe. DJ got women all over the YouTube streets. But yeah, these are some good guys. So Arkansas is great. I'm telling you, check out some of these new channels that I dropped the other day. Savage will be live. Arkansas, you definitely got to go check out Savage's live. And I will definitely see you guys later on. Snuggle Bunny, good morning. And I'm leaving. I love you guys. Have a great, great day. I'll be back in a few hours. Bye, guys. Oh, and thanks for the super chats. I really, really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. I'll do a members only. Promise you this week, we will do a members only. Well, the beginning of next week. Love you guys. Bye. Party Rock stop. Bye, guys. Check out George's live from yesterday, too. Arkansas, you got to teach me how to do this shit. You must be on a computer.